Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. Welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. You're here with Helen Tarrant, and today I'm actually going to share with you when is a good time to buy. Now, but you might be thinking the market is going crazy right now. You know, there's time to pull out of a deal. You're not getting enough returns. There's volatility in the market. There's uncertainty. You're not sure what your tenant is doing. But I want you to think about this. In 2012, when I first bought my first ever commercial property, there was two bidders for this one property in Metro Sydney, and we got over 8.5% yield. That's cash on the front end of the property. So I had 8.5% return on a $365,000 investment. Now, fast forward that 6 years, that same property is worth $800,000, and the yield or the return is no longer 8.5%. But it's now 5 to 6% return in that area. Nothing's changed with the property. In fact, the tenant hasn't even changed in that time, and it continued to give us rent month in, month out. Now, if you had a chance right now to buy that same property for even, let's say not 350,000, but for 500,000, would you not think that this is a good idea to buy now? Because ultimately that market will come back. Ultimately, that $500,000 property will be worth $850,000, and you'll be able to gain that on the back end. So what I'm telling you now is, when the market is fearful, when the market is unstable, this is the best time to buy. Especially if you have clear objectives, you have a strategy, and you know what you're looking for. This has never been a better time than right now to buy in commercial property. You see, the thing is, the market is fearful. There are a lot of buyers who are stepping back, who are following and being sheep and not wanting to buy. There are a lot of sellers who are nervous and trigger happy and basically want to sell, and they just want to cut a deal because all they're seeing is the end of the world. Now, if you are a level-headed investor, if you know and have some education around commercial property, and you know that this is only temporary in the market, then you know that this is absolutely the right time to buy. And if you don't think this is the right time to buy, maybe 2-3 weeks from now will be the right time for you to buy, which means that right now you need to actually prepare yourself. That means getting your entity in order, getting your loans and talking to the bank, getting your deposit ready. So in 2 to 3 weeks later, when people are just waking up and just thinking, okay, this is starting to settle down, you launch into the market and you're ahead of the game. It's really, really important to be ahead of the game. And so this is what this video is about. It's about teaching you that this is the right time to buy. And the reason that this is the right time to buy for you is because when everybody is fearful, this is the time to be bold, to go forward in the market and start buying and looking at properties with not rose-colored glasses, not because of the whole rush in the market that we were experiencing 2 to 3 months ago, but really looking at the property. Now you get to pick and choose your property. You get to pick and choose your tenant. You get to see which tenants are actually surviving through this volatility in the market. You get to see the history. You get to see what the tenants are invested in. And you get to see that this is a temporary measure just for now. And you know what? If you could save 20% on the current price, you know that you are going to get that in the back end. As soon as in the next 12 or 24 months, you will get that capital growth. And that capital growth is going to make you money. And that capital growth is going to set you up potentially for life. If you look at the history of the people who have made their money in real estate, most of them have made it in volatility. In the times like this, where everybody's fearful, they ventured forward, continued on with their projects, and they reaped the rewards because they positioned themselves that as soon as capital growth came in, they were there in the market to reap the rewards of it. So if you look at it now, what the bank is actually doing right now is also cutting interest rates. So they're cutting interest rates. I'm seeing 2.5% to 3.5% in commercial interest rates right now. So that means that even you right now, you bought a property for 4.5% or 5% in Sydney, you can still make cash flow and wait for the next couple of years for for the capital growth to gain. Now that is having your cake and eating it too. And there's never been a better time than right now. We are experiencing something that's once in a century. Isn't it time for you to capitalize on it? Remember, when you're looking at when is the right time to buy, three things. Firstly, buy and look at areas that other people are not looking. Because if you catch on to the crowd and you are buying where everything is heated, you are accepting market returns. And ultimately, it's going to take you longer for that property to grow in value and give you higher returns. But if you look at where other people are not looking, and you're buying in areas where others are not buying, because you've done your research and you understand the triggers in the market and the indicators, you will reap that reward in 12 to 24 months time when other people have jumped into the market and are buying frantically. That is when you reap the rewards. And that's one of the things we specialize in, what we do in terms of being a buyer's agent for helping people to find the right commercial property. Also in educating them to find the right commercial property, is that we have people on the ground and we have many relationships, so we know where is the upcoming area, not now but in the 12 to 24 months that follow. Number two, the second thing you look at is now is the time to go against the market. When markets are doing something else, now everyone is frozen. So this is a time for you to move forward and be bold. When people previously have been chasing growth, we've been putting our clients into cash flow properties. The reason we do that is because we're going against the market. The moment they realize that growth means putting money out of their own pockets and sustaining that growth, they will switch to cash flow. They'll go to these cash flow areas, which means our clients who are traditionally getting a lot of cash flow will suddenly get the growth as well. So right now, we're changing strategies. We're putting some of our clients back into growth areas because we're seeing the drop in growth that's happening in the next 3 to 6 months. We're seeing people who are scared and just wanted to sell off. We're seeing people who cannot hold on to their properties. So we're educating our clients and preparing them on the mindset wise, on all the other fronts, in terms of the entities, in terms of their borrowings, in terms of being a community, and the right type of deals, the right type of tenant that they need to look for, and also the type of property they need to buy in commercial to sustain longevity for them. So we're putting them into areas where they know that in the next 24 months they will absolutely get growth. So the number two thing for you to remember is that go against what the market is doing. So this is the perfect time for you to look at buying into metro, because others are scared to do that. So number three, and finally, tenants are really important right now. Probably never been as important as it is right now. So don't look at them a moment in time as if it is today and go, oh well, they're struggling, they're not making it, not making it work, this is not a great property. It's not about now. Look at the history. What were they doing a year ago? What were they doing 18 months, 2 years ago? What are other things they have to support their business? Do they have a parent company in another country that is supporting them? Are they part of a large conglomerate? Yes, they may be suffering now, but the whole market is volatile now. The thing is to look in the past so that you could predict the future. And we do that with all of our tenants. So it doesn't mean that right now you can't invest in a retail tenant. It doesn't mean right now you can't invest in a food tenant. If your food tenant is a brand name food tenant, if your tenant has a specialty, if your tenant is a retail tenant but they're a professional tenant like a lawyer's or accounting firm, they are still good tenants. You've got to look in the history to look into the future. And this is a temporary measure. Maybe your tenants actually have things in place so that in the future they can pick up when the economy picks up. So it's really important to do your due diligence and understand your client. Of course, we all want allied health, we all want medical, we all want all of those things. But the thing is, if you go against what everybody else wants, you have to accept their returns. And that means you're actually literally getting properties that are at 6% yield. But what you really want is a property yielding you 8%. And the property is yielding you 8%, giving you good returns with solid tenants. And we can teach you how to do that. So if you're looking now as the best time for you to invest in commercial property, then go to helentarrant.com, go to the contact us page, send us an email, let us get on a call and have a chat on how we can create wealth for you, with you, through commercial property. Bye for now, and I'll see you on the next episode.